just couldn't have been a more perfect scenario. And I'm just so jacked up, like super excited. I feel like I have a new mentality on life and baseball, especially, and just super, super excited.
Hey kids, welcome to Fancast. I have a real treat for you today. We're talking with brand new Chicago Dogs outfielder CJ Cepicky. CJ, how you doing, buddy?
Good, Mike. Good. Again, I really appreciate the opportunity.
Oh, please, I'm glad you're here. Before we talk dogs, I did want to ask you, how did you fall in love with the game of baseball? Did you have a baseball hero or maybe somebody else who kind of inspired you to keep going and get to this pro level?
Most definitely, my inspiration for baseball was always at an early age. 4 or 5 years old, starting with t-ball. But baseball's been in my family for some time. My uncle actually reached the major leagues for a couple of years.
Wow.
My cousin reached high affiliate baseball levels. My uncle is Matt Cepicky. He played for the Expos before they went to Washington, and he played a little bit with the Marlins as well. So
Oh, oh,
pretty
amazing.
cool and fortunate to have somebody like that who can, really kind of be a really big mentor, somebody that, ultimately went there and
Sure.
got to experience the end goal.
Yeah. Wow. So we have baseball royalty here in Chicago.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
Let's talk about your senior year of NIU. So you're a St. Louis kid, but you actually came here for a couple years at NIU in the Chicago suburbs here, and you're big with your bat. And I'm going to read this now. April 25th, 2025, you became the first Husky in program history to hit two grand slams in the same game. You tied the NIU single game RBI record with eight and tied the NIU single game runs scored record with five. So I got to ask you, can you tell me about that day? What do you remember from that day?
I remember everything about that day. That was my dad's birthday, actually. So really
No kidding.
exciting.
Wow.
Wasn't really totally expected to play. Yeah, it ended up being one of the, if not the best baseball experiences games that I've ever played. Got to the field, wasn't expecting to play. Was kind of in a little rough patch with the previous weeks, a little hot and cold there, and saw my name in the lineup. And just one of those carefree days where you're like, I got a good feeling inside that something good might happen today. And it ended up being that. Like you said, I hit the two slams. It was totally just euphoric moments, like kind of blacking out moments here and there, but it was something I'll never forget for sure. And especially to do that on my pop's birthday, that was really cool.
A lot of us, obviously, most of us will never have that experience, what it feels like to hit a home run. Can you describe the feeling of hitting a home run? Do you know it as soon as it comes off your bat?
Right. So most definitely, when you square up that baseball good, you really don't feel it, if
Oh,
this makes sense. But like,
wow.
so you feel it, but you don't. It feels like you don't even hit the ball. Like you're just
Really?
making a smooth swing through air. And but
Wow.
when you have that feeling, you kind of know, like, I squared that one up. And
Mm.
you square a ball up like that, it feels nice and smooth. And you hit it to your pull side gap with some good backspin. Like, the chances are that it's going to fly out. But the feeling for me is it's just a smooth swing. It's crazy, but it feels like nothing. It feels just like squaring up the baseball, like, really not trying to do too much at all, and you kind of just square it up, and it flies. So
So you're not physically like going, I'm gonna, swing so hard. I'm gonna, definitely. You just
yeah,
got a natural rhythm.
try. Sometimes, obviously, of course, there is, you wanna kind of tense up and really jack one, but that's
Right.
actually when it tends to be the exact opposite. You're rolling over, you're anxious, you're popping up. So try
Wow.
to stay nice and smooth, and that tends to have success. That with being on time and stuff. So
So obviously, looks like you're a big hitter. Can you describe your approach when you're at the plate? Like, what's your mindset on hitting?
yeah, my mindset first and foremost is definitely being on time. You got to be on time for anything. Be on time for the fastball for sure. Specifically, want to stay on that and adjust. And I just try to not be too selective. I try to be aggressive, but if I like a pitch and I feel like it's going to get a part of the plate, I'm going to go swing at it. I'm not looking, for a middle end pitch every time, or the perfect spot. I'm kind of just trying to see the ball as best I can, and if I think that baseball is going to be over the plate and I can put a good swing on it, I'm going for it.
Are there any tricks that you're looking for from when the ball's coming out of the pitcher's hand to make that timing work for you?
It's a great question, first of all. I think that definitely seeing more spin on off speed is for sure recognizable. Like if it pops up out of their hand, you'll know that it's definitely going to have some type of curveball slurve spin on it. So that those are in particularly easy to see. But as far as like the fastball, you're kind of just more of having your body ready to swing at that. I think a lot of that comes from like drill work and doing mixing matches of things like machine work and like different velocities and angles, spins, all that good stuff. But for me, I try to not overanalyze it.
Mhm.
I, at this time, at this level, and for playing the game so long, like you kind of know what you're getting with as far as fastball and being ready for that timing, as far as curveballs and stuff. So I don't try to get too big into that. I'm definitely trying to keep my head down. I would say that's the main thing while I'm swinging, so I can see the ball as best I can. And that, with kind of what I said earlier, is just not being too selective, being aggressive, and not trying to do too much with it. Just trying to put a good swing on it.
All right, CJ. Well, it's time to talk dogs. Are you ready to talk dogs?
Absolutely.
So you are a true rookie, correct? Dogs are your first pro team.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, so you signed with us on February 25th. So tell us how you became a Chicago Dog. Who contacted you? How did the negotiations go?
Yeah, so I actually, for winter ball, I went out to Palm Springs, California for the California Winter League. I heard about that from one of my players at NIU. He reached out, and I know you're still trying to play baseball. You should look at this league, check it out. And I thought about it, and I was like, I mean, we're getting to the point now where we're getting older, and getting into professional baseball is getting harder and harder. And I kind of just looked at it as like, like I'm just gonna go have fun with it. And I ended up going out there, ended up doing really well, better than I thought, and ended up talking to Stan out there, the manager. He actually ended up going out there to help coach a team for the last couple of weeks. So he got to watch me play, I'd say about 5 or 6 games, and even got to play a game against his team. And
Oh,
I would say for myself that all those games that he got to watch, I was really happy with my performance. Trying to do a little bit of everything, maybe hitting the ball here and there, some defensive plays, showing off base running, just kind of trying to show off all my tools and definitely have fun while doing it. So got in touch with Stan. We kept communication over a couple of weeks, and fast forward, here we are now, getting ready to play a season in Chicago for him with the Dogs.
so were you familiar with the team before the signing?
I was actually. So I was after NIU, missing out on the draft and stuff. I didn't really play too good there, but definitely was looking at independent baseball and was looking a lot about teams in Chicago, just because like you said, playing down the street in DeKalb for NIU, and constantly going up there for my girlfriend and stuff, seeing the suburbs and just being familiar with the city. I was like, there's a lot of professional baseball teams up here, and I started kind of doing research on them. And I was like, man, like I looked at the Dogs and I was like, this is like legit. I saw pictures on the website, all the fans and stuff, and I was like, this sounds awesome. And turn around a couple months later, that's the team that I come into contact with after going to Palm Springs. So just truly a miracle, truly a blessing. Really thankful to God for that. I'm very faith oriented, and just couldn't have been a more perfect scenario. And I'm just so jacked up, like super excited. I feel like I have a new mentality on life and baseball, especially, and just super, super excited.
That's fantastic. I know we're all excited as fans to have you here for sure. So tell the fans about what type of player you are. Like, what can they expect? What kind of player is CJ?
Now, especially, I try to have fun with the game. Everybody says it's a kid's game, but really it is. You can't press too much about things, but mainly having fun, playing hard, playing aggressive, things that are all good characteristics. But I love to win. Like winning in Chicago with that fan base, from what I've seen so far, I can only imagine like just how awesome and epic that's going to be. And another thing that I'm really looking forward to is, the fan base. Like I love interacting with fans. Because I remember, everybody remembers being that age. You remember looking up to these guys, and those guys are kind of your superheroes, and you want to be like them one day. So that's definitely something that how I try to be and carry myself as, and just try to be that, happy, fun, go lucky guy who just loves baseball and loves to have a good time.
Let's talk about actually playing your position. Do you know if you're going to be left, center, or right, or just kind of a utility outfielder that they go? What, do you have a natural preference?
Right. I'll play wherever. All any three. I've had some playing time in all three positions.
Mhm.
Kind of started out more as a center fielder in high school and then kind of switched to the corners as in college, but still played a little bit of center
Mhm.
in college and then summer ball especially. So wherever I'm needed to play, it's definitely something that I look forward to. Obviously, everybody likes playing center field, getting those straight reads off the ball and a lot more room to cover and stuff, but
Yeah.
definitely having the game right in front of you out there, it's definitely a little more fun as opposed to the corners, but can't can't bash those too much. It's fun playing anywhere. The reads are tougher. Definitely feels like you have to lock in a little more when you're playing left or right field, just because of the way that ball can spin and things like that. So
You've worn number 39 in the past. Will that be your number for the dogs? Have you had any talks about being able to reserve a number yet?
I have not. That's actually a great idea. My number, I love the number three. So
Oh.
really anything with three in it,
And why
those
is
are
that? Is there a
that
superstition
is
behind it?
my yes, my uncle's number. He wore 33 and 39 throughout his college and professional year, and the symbolism of C being the third letter in the alphabet, my initials, things like with my grandmother and stuff too, that she really
Wow.
liked that number, and just it's kind of just always been. Even my sister, when she played athletics, grade school, high school, and even she played a little bit of volleyball in college. So it's kind of just been a family number, I would say. 3, 33, 39,
Oh.
anything kind of just with three. And even the nine, the symbolism for the nine there is that, three and nine. Like,
Fingers crossed that you get that number. So, do you have a walk-up song?
that's a good question. I've had a lot of different walk-up songs. I think for this one, I'm going to put some time into it. At the moment, I don't. I'm a big music guy, so
Okay.
definitely, I want to put some time on it. I've been listening to a lot of different genres and stuff recently, so want
Okay.
to get fired up, but just there's a couple routes I can go with that. So
Yeah.
we'll see what I end up choosing.
All right. Well, that was my next question. What gets you pumped before a game? Is it music or food or just the competition, your camaraderie? What do you think for you gets you pumped up?
Oh, I love food, man. Food always gets me pumped up. Depending on the day, I'll do an energy drink or so, that can get me pumped up a little bit. But normally the locker room has got some type of music going on. That's enough for me, whatever somebody's playing. I don't really have a for sure preference. Maybe, on like a championship day or something, I'll put the headphones on and, really lock in with,
Right.
something that I want to listen to. But as long as there's something going on in the locker room and I kind of just get to the field and kind of run through my routine and stuff, like that tends to be enough for me.
Okay. Well, I have one more question for you regarding the dogs, and it's the most important question I'm going to ask you today, probably. How do you like your hot dog?
Wow, that is a good question. So, believe it or not, I used to be an extremely bland kid with cheeseburger, just cheese and the burger, like hot dog, just hot dog and bun.
Sure.
Recently, I need to try and expand a little more. Like I've had a couple of street dogs back in the day, don't vividly remember, maybe with like some jalapenos and stuff. But if I was going to do a dog right now, I would just do a dog. I would do mustard, ketchup, and I would do some relish on it. And that would be, yeah, that'd be enough for me. I mean, jalapeno could be good on there too. And
You'll hear a lot of the no ketchup. That's kind of the slogan because that's a Chicago dog has no ketchup on it. But any way you like it,
well, then
it's
I'm gonna have
it's
to,
fine.
I'm gonna have to not eat ketchup anymore on the hot dog.
Give it a
Can
try.
I can take my answer back from before.
Yeah.
Just mustard and relish then.
No, it's
Hey, baseball fans, there's a brand new way to show love for your favorite players. Just go to OnDeckTees.com. They have comfy tees and hoodies featuring custom art of some of the hottest players in the league and growing. And a portion of your purchase goes directly to that player. Ordering is fast and easy. Go to OnDeckTees.com. Support the player, wear the gear.
CJ, let's talk about fielding, the art of fielding. We kind of touched on it a little bit earlier, but what drew you to the outfield position? Was there anything particular that made you interested? I mean, you like to run a lot, or What about it drew you to that position?
Yeah, I think from a young age, making the varsity team as a freshman, but not really playing a whole lot, being that young, I played shortstop, and there were definitely guys a lot better than me at shortstop, and that's something that my coach was kind of just like, let's try a couple different positions, maybe outfield, maybe first base, and I was always lanky and I could run a little bit, and the outfield kind of just became natural, running down, chasing down balls, and you just got to throw them in. And yeah, I mean, definitely kind of felt natural out there. And as far as, that gets better and better the more you do it, as far as like actually reading the baseball off the bat and footwork and, all that good stuff. But yeah, definitely just like running around out there and chasing down baseballs for sure.
Is there a difference to being a corner fielder, left or right versus center?
I would say center field has priority out there. So whatever balls are in the gap, and center fielder has first say, final
Oh,
say
really?
for sure if they want to catch the ball. The
Oh,
corners, I mean, I'd say the main difference, only difference is obviously just the positioning on the field. Like where
yeah.
they're at. I guess you could say those reads too as well. Sometimes you'll get sliced on the corners more than you will in center, depending on they really pull a ball or stay back and drive, depending on righty lefty. But yeah, just that center fielder has priority. But I'd say all three of them are pretty. What's the word I'm looking for? Like if you can play one position in the outfield, you have a good chance to be able to play all three.
So the center fielder is kind of the general. Let's say there's a ball in the gap right between you. You're both going for it, but so what you're saying is the center fielder has kind of the right of way, I guess, unless it's
Yes. Yeah. So if I'm in left or right field and I'm running in the gap and I hear the center fielder calling for the baseball, like I'm getting out of the way. I'm
okay.
moving.
It seems like it's more difficult to stay focused out there. So what helps
For
you?
sure.
Oh, it is. What helps you maintain field awareness or focus while you're out there?
Yeah, for sure. I think that's definitely something that you have to, kind of keep in your head and just kind of making sure you're really locked in on the game and constant communicating with each other. Definitely, something I like to do. It keeps the innings going by, and just staying kind of locked in. Definitely talking about hitters, like where he went last time. What we're thinking with pitches, shifting each other and moving around and stuff, and
Right.
just getting ready to ultimately for that next play, that next baseball that's hit at you. I think definitely makes the game, kind of go along. And for me, it's just being ready after every pitch. Like, all right, I'm locked in. Like as soon as that pitcher starts his lineup, like, or wind up, like I'm locked in
Yeah.
to get ready to go.
What is one fact that the average fan would not realize about the difficulty of playing the outfield?
Depending on where you're playing, I would say like in front of those big crowds, like loudness, especially. We played some games at LSU and Kentucky, and they got some fans, and you just got to make sure you're communicating and knowing your surroundings for sure. That's what I really wanted to say at first. Knowing your surroundings, knowing where things are, where the wall is, how the lines are down first and third base, and just if you know your surroundings, then at time when that play comes during the game where you have to go get a ball, you kind of just know where you're at, and you're like, okay, I know where my feet are. Like I know I can run full speed for this amount, and I have this much space to lay out and
Yeah.
stuff like that for sure. That also just kind of comes with doing it more and more.
Okay. And here, this is a silly question. I didn't have this, but you just cued me onto something. You say layout, like making a diving catch. Is that when you're chasing a ball and I'm not going to get this unless I make a dive? Is it just something instinctual, or do you sometimes like pull off on a dive, or you're just like for you maybe you're always gung ho. I want to jump all the time. It just about. I
Yeah.
mean, those are exciting plays to watch, and like you said, you lay out and you just sacrifice yourself for a big stretch to catch it. So what goes through your head? Is it something you just go on autopilot? You dive, don't even think about it.
Yeah, no, you answered it perfectly. All of the above. There's times when you're running full speed to a baseball and it's like reactionary to where your body just takes over to where you just lunge out, look in your glove, there's the baseball. There's times when you got a lot of time, like, all right, I'm gonna run and dive this, maybe a ball that's higher up in the air. You're like, okay, this ball's far away, like I might have to run and slide or lay out for this one. And then there's times in the middle, so it kind of just depends, like, but there's definitely times where the baseball's hit and like you kind of just snap and you lock in and like you go get it and dive, and then you kind of come back to reality for a second, just letting the instincts take over and
Yeah.
stuff. So I think as a mentality, like just wanting to be, like you kind of said, gung ho, running around, like I'm laying out, like I'm going to try to catch every baseball I can. Like that just puts like a fun kind of aspect on it, like just a challenging thing for yourself. Like the next baseball, that's depending on, how far or how far out of your range, I guess it's hit. Like I'm going to see if I can catch it or stuff like that. So definitely agree with what you said. And, you kind of hit the nail on the head there. So all the above for sure.
If you're ready to have a little bit of fun, we'll try something called Fungo. Are you ready?
Absolutely. Let's do it. Let's do
Okay.
it.
So this is quick questions, quick answers. You'll get the hint right away. First question, Starbucks or Dunkin'?
Starbucks.
Oh, okay. The last TV show you watched?
Memory of a Killer. It's on Hulu. It's about like an assassin. It's kind of like a thriller vibe, mafia thriller kind of vibe. So
Okay.
yeah, so it's pretty good. Pretty
All
good.
right, we'll look for that. Go-to snack food.
Extra toasty Cheez-Its for sure. Got to be extra toasty. All Cheez-Its are good, but there's just something different about the extra toasty. So
Okay.
you ever had them? You try them?
No, I haven't, but now I'm gonna try for sure.
Oh man, they're
Extra
so
toasty
good. Yeah.
Cheez-Its or Cheetos? What did you say?
Cheez-Its.
Extra toasty Cheez-Its. All right, I'm gonna look.
Yes, definitely give that a try. Let me know.
Okay. The best baseball movie.
I'm gonna say Bull Durham.
Okay, cool. Mountains or
Bull
beach?
Durham. I would have said beach, but after being in Palm Springs, being in the mountains, like that was kind of both. Like I'll say mountains.
All right, cool. Coolest Star Wars character.
Coolest Star Wars character is for me General Grievous. Big fan,
Is that the
big
one with the
like
four arms, right? The robot?
yeah, forearms, kind of like the cyborg. Yeah,
Yeah.
and Revenge of the Sith, like super. Used to have the action figures, his spaceship and stuff. So
Yeah.
definitely, yeah, by far the coolest Star Wars
Yeah,
character.
that's for sure. He is pretty cool. You could have lunch with anyone in history. Who would it be?
Man, I know these are supposed to be quick, but that's a good
Well, I
question.
guess
I will
maybe.
say, man, anyone in history, huh? How about Barry Bonds?
There you go. Cool.
Barry Bonds, I think I consider him the greatest hitter ever, and just to pick his brain at lunch, I feel like that'd be pretty cool.
All right,
Pretty
there
cool.
you go. That's great. Do you have a hidden talent?
I can play a little bit of the piano, nothing super crazy, like nothing like a little bit crazy, like
Yeah.
like I can play just a little bit of stuff. I can play like a little bit of Fur Elise, Beethoven, but like just
Okay.
like the bare minimum. I kind of taught myself how to play, so
All
I
right.
can do like just a little stuff.
Yeah,
So
have some fun with it. That's nice.
yeah,
Kittens or puppies?
puppies for sure.
All right. Most listened to on your Spotify playlist?
I'm gonna say recently it's been indie music, so Tame Impala, really like
Oh
Tame
yeah,
Impala.
yeah, good stuff.
His catalog is pretty wide variety, and
Yeah.
that's definitely like whenever I'm listening to music, like that's an every time for sure. A songer will pop up, like no skips with Tame Impala.
Very cool. Very cool. Finally, if you were a Pokemon, you would be.
I feel like you got to say Charizard, right?
Okay.
I mean, that's. I feel like a lot of Pikachu's could be in there, but
Yeah.
I like Charizard. Those cards are pretty expensive. So why not? Why not?
CJ, we're wrapping up here and we're at our final pitch. The show is specifically for the Dogs fans, all the fans that we know and love, but also hopefully new fans. Do you have any special message for the fans?
My special message would be that if you're in the Chicago area and you're passionate about baseball, you love baseball, come check out the Chicago Dogs. At Impact Field, great energy, great atmosphere, and help us win some baseball games this summer.
How can fans connect with you, CJ? Are you on social media at all?
Yeah, for sure. Instagram's my name, just CJ Cepicky, and that's where I'm the most active for sure. Like, I have a Twitter and things, don't really use it a whole lot, but Instagram for sure is the main one, CJ Cepicky.
Fans, remember to follow the Fool. I'm on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and of course YouTube. That's where you're watching us now. Just search chidogfool, CHIDOGFOOL on all platforms. And then make sure you give this video a like, click the bell, and hit the little cute hand there. And leave your comments on it. CJ, man, thank you so much for doing this. I truly appreciate it. and welcome to the team, of course. And I'm wishing you crazy success in 2026, and telling all the fans, boy, get out and get to know CJ and grab his autograph. I think you're going to have a blast here, and I'm so excited for you, and I can't wait to meet you in person and watch you do your thing out there.
Thank you, Mike. I really do appreciate it. I appreciate you having me on. I had a blast and look forward to seeing and meeting you as well at the ballpark and stuff. And, maybe we can do this again sometime because it was really fun and, I had a great time. So I really do appreciate that. Thanks for having me. What's going on, everybody? This is CJ Cepicky, one of the newest Chicago Dogs outfielder. If you guys are watching this, you guys need to do what's cool and follow the Fool for all things Chicago Dogs.